Yo, what's up? Exactly 2 days ago, the merge dropped and numerous players experienced great games under the new balancing system, but there are also lots of issues going on, most of them related to bugs, but also some not too well thought out balance stuff, and especially due to the new perk system and the new campaign and army organization system. So here's my list of which things you should be careful about and which things you should know that will help you avoid problems, and also how to just completely solve these issues right now for yourself. Let's go in. Many of these points are a simple collection of complaints people posted multiple times, so just hearing them for you will mean that people know these problems and the problems are worked on, and that also these problems are common. And it really helps a lot to know that many people have the same issue, because then you know, right, it's not necessarily due to a single person making something wrong or not getting something, but it's a general problem. So the first problem is that many maps can't be reached for people. Now obviously this is a statistical thing, because if someone plays only 5 matches or even only 10 matches, which would be quite a lot for just 2 days of the new system being live, it's expected that many people won't see every map. But here's what I personally experienced after playing, I think, 6 or 7 matches in the last 2 days, that if you play low battle rating Germans, you rarely get Moscow. And this is something quite a few people said too and complained about, because low level Germans was literally Moscow. But now you almost never get Moscow maps, and I basically constantly get Stalingrad maps. And ironically enough, I had, I would say, around half of my matches in Stalingrad, 1/4 of my matches in Moscow, and 1/4 in Tunisia. So yeah, but yeah, I'm waiting for a bigger sample size. I'm gonna play some more matches tonight, and I'm gonna see how this improves. But yeah, this is an issue, and I'm quite sure that since many people complained about it, there's some inefficiency regarding the way it's coded, and people are put into maps, and it's gonna be leveled out. Also, later in the video, we're gonna have a nice new map, not only one map, but a group of maps announced for the Ardennes Offensive. And this is gonna be really great, because what the game needs right now is, despite the bugs being fixed, it needs more maps, more completely new creative maps to fill out the BR gaps. Because, for example, if you see, alright, Americans need more low... Yeah, Americans need a more balanced type of maps. The Soviets need some more maps, the Germans need some more maps, and the Japanese especially need more maps. So yeah, we need some more maps to fill out the years. Kursk Offensive needs maps, Ardennes Offensive desperately need maps. This is what you're gonna get. And I think the most loved thing would be to add some early war maps, some very, very early war maps for the Germans, meaning year 39. Because the earliest conflict we currently see depicted as year 41. And then you can play some true battle rating 1 fights against the Polish or against the French, and yeah, alright. Though the French are gonna have some quite strong tanks, but yeah, it is something that's gonna come up in the next... I'm very sure the next year will bring us a bunch of new maps, also a bunch of new nations. That's gonna be great. Also, many people I see constantly demand the addition or the separation of the little nations like Italians and British from the main nations. Now here's the problem with that. First of all, they have so little equipment that they won't even fill up a complete army. But this isn't even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, for many players, currently if you play Americans and you buy additional squad slots, which is a really good quality of life improvement, you get them for both nations, America and British. Same thing goes for Germans and Italians. But if you separate these little nations, you will have to buy these slots again for the new nation. So currently you save a lot of money by getting these additional slots basically on top for free for these nations. So this is quite a good state of affairs right now. Next, we have the problem that whenever you level up, it requires you to click on what you actually want to research. Here's the thing, with the old campaign system, you never had to click anything, because the game automatically always researched the thing that you're currently doing. If you're playing a squad, the particular soldier had collected experience, the particular squad collected experience for the squad upgrades, and a particular campaign collected experience. Now, whenever you're in your nation tech tree, you actively have to click on whatever you want to level up. And this is the first thing. I'm quite sure if you don't click on anything, if you click just later, the experience that you didn't assign will just be automatically added. But I'm not sure though. I'm not sure about that. But I mean, this is... Darkflow wouldn't be stupid enough to annoy people by wasting hours of grind. Yeah. So this is the first thing. The second thing is, for many players complain that even if they assigned properly as demanded by Darkflow what to research, it doesn't show any research progress. Yeah, now the question is this an optical bug where you get the research experience but it doesn't just show it? Or you don't get anything at all? This is quite unclear, and there's no clear answering regarding that problem. So the simple answer here is just wait for a couple more days until we get bug fixes for that and clear statements, because Darkflow is generally not clear with problems and communications. Reason for that is, A, they're not good at communication by itself, and B, they don't even speak proper English, and C, the random helpers they don't have any competence, or not necessarily in terms of what they can do, but what they're allowed to do. So the communication flow between Darkflow and players is literally low tier, trash tier. It's battle rating -1. So this is the problem. But yeah, I just got used to it. So it's literally about waiting until the good fixes drop. Another problem is the customization. It literally doesn't work right now. I've been saying people for almost 1 year to save up their customization orders, or at least I recommend that, until the new campaign, until the new merge drops, so we know how the customization system works, and we can actually buy things and know that everything you buy will be exactly used the way you want it. Right now, the customization is still very, very bugged, extremely bugged, and it's literally just completely not worth it to buy any customizations. You even see it by the fact that people got refunded customizations they bought over the last years because it didn't even properly work with the new system. And I strongly expect to be fixes and some adaptations regarding how it's implemented coming out in the next days. So yeah, I absolutely want to customize the hell out of my soldiers, and I'm literally waiting for a long time to do so. But we're gonna have to wait a couple more days or even weeks, but I don't think too much longer, until we can actually put the swag on our army. I'm gonna post you some nice pictures for inspiration, and so we can have fun with our swaggy looking soldiers. Next we have the issue that some BR items have bad numbers. I guess this is something everyone expected, because there are some weapons that have too high BRs. They're simply too weak, and having them in high BRs just doesn't make any sense. But there are also some weapons that have too low BRs, and that just mess up low BR balance. And here's the question. This is a topic people could discuss for hours. And overall, I came to the conclusion that the problem isn't the BR assignment itself. It's the fact there's too little BRs. Because there are some items that cannot be put into a reasonable BR. The most, I think, famous one about that is the KV-1 tank. The KV-1 tank, known for its extremely good armor, literally no weak spot, and quite a good cannon. For the Soviets, it's way too weak for BR4, but it's way too strong for BR3. So where do you put it? I always said put it in BR3 to make it historically accurate regarding the timing. At least, well, regarding the timing it could be even earlier, but this makes more sense. And regarding how it performed in real war, where it was a complete menace to the Germans. But the Germans in real life could handle it by either shooting it a couple hundred times with anti-tank guns, or by shooting it up with an 88 flak. But the problem is Germans don't have 88 flaks in the game yet. And yes, so this is also the solution the Germans had in late war against Germans on the Western Front. Just shoot them up with 88 flaks. It always works. And you don't need some specialized tank crews or good tanks to do it. But yeah, right now there's simply no solution. And the literally only working solution is to add one more BR. I would say add 2 more BRs and Enlisted will have perfect BR assignments with 2 more BRs. Enter BR +1, -1 spread. But many people came to the conclusion, as I'm getting tired to repeat it, but I've been literally saying it for the last 6 months. The game needs +1, -1 BR spread, not +2, -2. And literally all the whiners, all the forum trolls who were against it now even agree, oh yeah, this is literally what we need. Many new players who just posted for the first time agree that the big spread just completely makes everything nonsensical for low and mid-level players. And many of them also say that, yeah, they demand a second BR tier, a 6th BR tier, above the last BR level, which is also making a lot of sense, because if you look at the BR5 weapons, many handguns are completely obsolete. For example, MKBs, completely useless compared to STGs. And PPSHs or even PPDs with drum mags completely useless compared to Federals and PPSHs and ASs. So, and regarding tanks, it's even worse. You will never play a King Tiger. You will never play a normal Tiger 1 above a King Tiger. And there are many examples like that. So yeah, we need some more better spread. Also, you can, with a lot of effort, actually deal with a normal Tiger, but you basically can't deal with King Tigers if you're getting up-tiered with your mid-level army. So yeah, this is a good idea what many people are posting, and I'm sure it will be implemented soon, because if even the normies are starting to demand this, I don't think Darkflow is gonna stay obstinate in that case. Related to this problem is the fact that many people are posting that they get tired of seeing King Tigers in Stalingrad and in Normandy. Now, seeing Tigers in Stalingrad is already questionable, and King Tigers obviously it never. But Normandy, yeah, Normandy also didn't see any King Tigers. Unless you count months way after the Normandy invasion as King Tiger acceptable, yes, but King Tigers should never be on D-Day. Yeah, so and stuff like that. And this is a severe problem, because once again Americans can't deal with King Tigers. Not even their P-47s can properly deal with them unless they put on some perfectly placed bomb. But here's the problem. A tank in general is much stronger than a plane, because the damage output is much better, the kill output is much better, and it's much easier to use. It's much easier to use. So if you can just with a King Tiger get 100 kills in 10 minutes, you cannot get that simply with a plane. And a plane can get shot down much easier than an overpoweredly armored tank. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the King Tiger, but yeah, this is a problem. It just not only ruins immersion, but also ruins balance. Yeah, this needs to be removed. King Tigers only belong to Berlin and some late war Normandy maps. By the way, this is where we're gonna get the Ardennes map soon, because this is where King Tigers literally belong to. One of the most famous King Tiger offensives took place in the Ardennes Offensive. And also stuff like the late war Eastern Front campaigns and attacks or defensive fights for the Germans, where King Tigers also could rule. Now, how do people perceive the different BR queues? The low BR queue is generally very positively viewed. I've read basically no negative feedback about it. I've read dozens of good comments about how people love the new low BR tiers. Also, that's why I made a video about it. It's literally the most fun way to play Enlisted right now. and this also where you're gonna get lots of new players. You're gonna get lots of fresh blood for the game, and not only like the old same sweatlords who do the same old strategies and so on. And if the player base, especially if the new players, are very willing to strategize and think and improve, the low BRs are gonna be literally the best way to play Enlisted in a strategic and historically accurate way, because high BRs simply don't give you time to do any strategy. High BRs, if you're gunfights, you literally cannot wait too much to set up good attacks or flanks very often, because if you are against a too sweaty team, you're gonna get blown up the whole time. especially by planes and by tanks. So literally the power level of the weapons makes it basically impossible to impact the game significantly with smart plays and with real war, real life strategy. But low level BRs, you can do all the strategies because you got all the time in the world, because the rate of killing isn't as fast with the weak weapons. So yeah, low BR is literally where the fun is going on right now. Mid BR, people are usually complaining and whining. Yes, because they get constantly leveled up. Well, this is, by the way, here's the big general problem. It's obviously extremely distorted because the people who have fun will rarely post because they will play. Why the hell should someone post some bullshit on social media if you can have more fun playing the game? But the people who don't have fun, they post a lot. Yes, especially when they uninstall the game and spend the next 6 hours posting everywhere how they uninstall the game. So you see there's a big distortion, and that's why people need... I recommend people have a everyone who wants to evaluate and talk about social media should first research social media, couple dozen hours at least, and it doesn't mean reading Twitter, it means literally reading about what other people wrote, how they analyze social media, until people actually understand social media. And Darkflow obviously doesn't, because they don't know how to process the information of the social media they're collecting. And all of this negative feedback it looks much worse than the game is actually, because the game is much better than it currently looks. But yeah, mid-tier BR, if you get up-tiered, it's horrible, especially due to the +2 spread. But if you get down-tiered, I noticed half of my games in low BR I got up-tiered, but it wasn't that bad. I've seen a bunch of flamethrowers running around, but guess what? Whenever I've seen a flamethrower, I knew, alright, I have to instantly shoot him first and ignore anything else, because this dude is the most dangerous dude on the field right now. And once I did that, it was fine. There's only 2 flamethrowers in one squad. And guess what? You have grenade launchers. And I recommend watching my video how to counterplay, or whatever it's called. Yeah, like basically how to solve any problem in Enlisted. No matter what your enemies are doing, how to counteract them, how to outplay them. And yeah, the biggest takeaway is on low BR, just grenade launch enemy flamethrowers. Whenever an enemy has an overpowered handgun, just grenade launch him and everything's fine. So this isn't that much of a problem. And here's where the fun begins regarding Sweatlord's whining. If you look at the complaints about high BR, people are really butthurt. But guess what? Everyone I constantly play with didn't complain about high BR. These people literally didn't complain. The only comments were, oh, good that we don't have any bots anymore, now we have real players, and that's quite cool. The only thing they complain about is that the maps they were put in, but yeah, this is what you already said, the King Tiger problem in Stalingrad. But the complaints the qualitative content of the complaints that you hear and read is that people say, oh no, high BR became way too sweaty. And countless people already pointed out, wait, it was always sweaty, and for them, most people didn't feel any change regarding sweatiness. The only thing that changed is that if people were used to clap new players who don't have high-level equipment in the old campaign system, with their overpowered equipment from sweating 2 years of Enlisted, yes, for these people who got used to clap new players in unfair games, yeah, for them it becomes sweaty, because now they play against evenly matched players. But for every normal player, the game didn't become more sweaty. So whenever you read something like this, you can instantly know, right, this is a random Sweatlord who's not only a Sweatlord, who's also a bad player. So yeah, whatever. Whatever. But by the way, there are quite enough people like that. So the game needs a solution for these players too. And I also recommended just make it normal that the games contain 8 real players and 2 bots. Or, what would be better, make the games 12 versus 12, 10 real players and 2 bots. And I don't think it's that much tech sync. I think 12 players would work out fine. I've heard that on test runs, 15 players also worked out constantly fine. So 12 players wouldn't be a problem. Having a bunch of, 9 real players and 3 bots, I think that would be quite perfect. This way, you reduce the amount of sweat, and the bad whales who want to clap easy targets still get some bots that they actually manage to shoot before getting shot back. One really positive observation I made in that context is that in basically every single one of my low BR German games, I've seen the very first Soviet tank as an enemy tank. Constantly spammed. Now this means that many new players are actually installing the game now and playing Soviets. Because no player who has access to T-50s or T-28s would play this tank. So you know that these must be new players, and they must be real players due to A, AI and bots not using tanks, and B, you can see in the beginning of the game that you have 10 real enemies because the list is full. So yeah, this is a good sign because the game literally needs as many new players as possible, and they also need to have fun and stay in the game. That's why we need more balance and a good low battle rating where new players are protected against sweat lords with way too overpowered equipment. So yeah, this is really good to see. Though I also always felt bad for these players because they, I don't know whether some of them were smart. They were just positioning their tank perfectly and abused the power of the Soviet gun. But others just rushed in and got clapped by German tanks. But yeah, this is what I mean. This is obviously how players behave and play, so that's completely normal. But yeah, what you want to see is lots of very low level equipment and low BRs because this shows that the game is growing, the player base is growing. Now another very important problem though is that the constant blinking is really annoying players. Whenever you open your army, you see green icons everywhere next to your soldiers, and this used to be horrible, and then it got fixed a couple of times, and then it became much less problematic. But now I constantly see blinking either regarding equipment or regarding perks. And here's the big problem. The perk system is absolutely horrible. It's so horrible that many people literally don't understand it. Rightfully so, because it's fucking confusing. And it's also very expensive and problematic to actually, even if you know how to use it, even if you want to use it, you can't even simply use it most of the times as a player. Yeah, this multiple people also even made a deed to post a detailed post on the forum why the perk system is just horrible and they need to make it simple. They invented some cool looking new icons, but the old perk system was just better. And what I need to do is just bring back the old perk system without the randomness and everything is fine. The old perk system literally was very easy to understand, very intuitive, and everything was great. But now they turned it into a fucking complicated mess that no one gets, and that's even very expensive because you can't reroll perks. I literally didn't reroll a single soldier since the merge. I literally only play old soldiers that I already had perked out. And I also won't do any perking until the system gets changed because I don't want to get brain damage from it, and B, I absolutely expect it to be changed because Darkflow can't expect a single new player to put up with this bullshit system that's just completely confusing. Another issue new players see themselves confronted with is the extremely glacially slow grinding. Darkflow's rationalization for that is, before that you had to grind Germany 5 times in 5 campaigns. Now everything is only in one German national tech tree, so we can increase the grind. We can increase the experience that you need, or decrease the speed of experience gain proportionally, and everything is fine. Yeah, no, motherfucker, it's not fine. A, first of all, people don't think like that. They will just think you rip them off, and B, it's literally just too slow, because you have to keep in mind, a new player under the old campaign system already suffered hard enough. Because the old campaign progression was already so slow that Gaijin was happy that people feel themselves distressed to buy premium. But now the grind required just exploded. It's ridiculously long. And it's just so slow that it's absolutely not acceptable. It's completely unacceptable. I'm gonna, when I have more time in the next weeks, I guess, make a new account so I can see how literally new players literally have to suffer from all of this grind bullshit. And yeah, I'm already getting nightmares from that, and this absolutely needs to change. The grind is simply too slow. It's simply too slow, and it doesn't matter what Dark Wolf thinks would be fair enough. As long as people are completely disgusted by it, it needs to be increased so players actually can enjoy the game and not be completely turned off from the slow grinding and the slow progression. Also, once again, currently there are some problems. I think though mostly for old players where there are actually holes in the progression tree. For example, I have the King Tiger 2, the literally last German tank, but I'm missing out 1 or 2 tanks in between the line. So I got holes in my national progression tree. And I guess this may lead to problems, but yeah, whatever. Whatever, I don't really care about that. But yeah, I know that I click this one tank and I see every time I play I get a little bit of progression. This, by the way, really good. And overall, all players really profit from this new system, because for new players, it's a complete ripoff. For all players, if you unlock the stuff you want, or if you're close to unlocking the stuff, you can just play low-level BR, and you're still grinding your King Tigers that you possibly haven't unlocked. So yeah, this is really good overall. But once again, it's important that the game is good for new players. This is the most important thing, and in that case, it must be improved. A very funny bug also occurred recently, that people seem to get 10 versus 15 matches. Now, how does it happen? Very simple. Whenever a game fills out, let's say a match finds 9 players to queue against your team, and then it obviously needs a 10th player, and then a 4 stack of players connects, and the game puts in the 4 stack for this one last remaining slot. And then you're playing not 10 versus 10, but 10 versus 13. This used to be a problem, and there was literally no... Once the game started like that, there was literally no solution. You had to play 10 versus 13. Well, the solution is you just clap the enemy team so hard in the first 5 minutes that the enemies get butthurt and just rage quit. And then and then it's not 10 versus 13, but 10 versus 8 plus a bunch of bots. Yeah, this was my strategy always. But it's not feasible always for everyone. And currently there's the problem that you also get not only 10 versus 10, which was the limit of imbalance. Now it can even be more extreme, and people posted 10 versus 15 screenshots. Yeah, obviously no one wants to play like that. Obviously no one wants to play like that. So yeah, if you see something like that, this is also, I'm very sure, a bug that will be solved soon in the future. And the worst problem of them all right now, I would say, is the army organization. If you already unlocked a bunch of squads, a bunch of technology and weapons, it's pure hell to search through all of the nonsense that you have in your reserve list. And it literally took me, I guess, almost 1 hour until I had my low battle rating German army organized. Well, I also did a little bit more organization work for the other squads that I didn't play, but still, it took forever. And some people say they're just literally sitting there for hours and hours until they can build their armies. Now, here's my strong recommendation. If you can bring up the patience, just build one army that you want to play, and for the rest, I would just wait until this gets fixed, and I'm sure it's get fixed in the next couple days, with a bunch of fast organization options. Like mass unequipping, or blocking the unequipping of special squads. For example, blocking a squad from the unequipped, and then you click on unequip everything, and everything gets unequipped, and your one squad that you finished and perfected, it remains the same, and then you get just quick access to everything you want. Stuff like that is very much needed. Also, the preset system, I explained it in like 2 minutes in my last video about the merge, where I showed how to use it. I have to say, it's literally complicated. It feels like you have to code a 20-year-old random automatic whatever little machine, like automatic pond feeding system. Yeah, which is literally so primitive as it gets. And you have to click a bunch of buttons, and if you do even one single misclick, the whole system doesn't work, and you have to start from new. Yeah, this is how it feels. It's completely unintuitive and there's no visual help. So what the game needs is just above your squads, just a bunch of like 10 icons or so, where it says, where you can just name the icons you want. For example, better rating 1 army, better rating 2 army, and you just assign your armies the way you want it, and then you just click between them and every soldier gets exactly equipped as it's depicted there. This is literally the same as the current preset system, but multiple features all in one, very easily visible and very easily understandable, because the current preset system people, especially new people, literally won't understand, and it's just too complicated. And for the end, some fast, quick recommendations that will make your life much easier. First of all, don't buy customizations, as I already explained. Also, levels, I wouldn't buy levels right now because, yeah, you can buy levels by the way for currency. But yeah, there's gonna be lots of issues, so it's not really worth fast level levels. Also, regarding perks, I would stay away from using perks right now too much if you can avoid. Also, there's a very fun thing going on. Some soldiers have, if you look at the unallocated perks, so the perks you can still use, some have negative amounts. Because they apparently were over-perked regarding to the new system, which doesn't make any sense at all. Apparently, since they didn't change the amount of perk points a soldier has, they changed the costs, and now I have a bunch of soldiers with -1. So these soldiers you want to never touch again, so they can stay this way because they have perk distributions that can't be achieved right now. But isn't that unfair? I can already hear some nerds and Sweatlords scream, no it's not, because the players didn't do anything. Literally, Darkflow changed a bunch of numbers, and now the players have allegedly illegal soldiers. Like, what the fuck? That is stupid. Obviously, Darkflow needs to change their bullshit numbers, so things are normal again. Also, wait for since a big new update was announced, in a couple of minutes I'm going to show you which, and yes, it's a big update 2 days after the other big update. I'm sure there will be lots of life of quality changes in that case. Also, a couple of days it went under the noise of all the other news. With the big merge, there were lots of updates, quite a bunch of bug fixes, but only for the old Enlisted, not for the merge system. Also some sound updates, many weapons sound better now. The graphics got improved again. By the way, Enlisted graphics get improved around every 2 to 3 months. Around every 3 to 4 months they get improved significantly, and you can see the game either looking much better or being more efficiently running on your graphics card. So yeah, I literally the first thing after I opened the Enlisted merge menu is that I've seen how the games look, the weapons look better, and the items look better. Everything looks better. So yeah, like this is very good. But I won't go into detail because it would literally just be reading stuff for 30 minutes. Yeah, but yeah, like many things got improved, so we can be very happy about that. Also, Christmas sale is gonna be soon, and I won't get tired of recommending to wait for the Christmas sale, so you get all of the nice discounts. I'm also gonna buy lots of stuff in Christmas sale. I'm also gonna show you what, in case it's gonna inspire you. So yeah, generally speaking, it's to be expected that very low BR premium squads are becoming much more attractive now, because new players finally have a reason to buy them, but even old players can have a reason to buy them if they just want to have some very cool, swaggy, low BR squad that they can play forever. Because under the old campaign system, weak squads got completely obsolete once you reach the high levels. But now, every single squad in the game, as long as it has some little upside, or some significant upside, can be very viable. So yeah, the low BR premium squads became much better and actually worth taking a look at finally again. And this last tip, I recommend to, whenever you start queuing for a game, check exactly what your BR is, because I've noticed half of all the complaints are because people are saying there's problem with their BRs, but I strongly assume there were some mistakes made by the specific player. First of all, whenever you look at an item, you see a BR number. Also, a couple hours ago it was updated. It's easier visible now. Then, whenever you look at a squad, if you just hover over the name of the squad, you also see a BR number for the whole squad. So that helps too. And whenever you go to your national icon, to your nation icon on the top center of the screen in the Enlisted menu, you see an overall BR for your whole army for this nation. So you have literal multiple layers of indicators that show you what specific BR you currently have in your hands. And the last number you see when you click on start a game, you see the BR you're connecting to. And this is, sometimes it was bugged, and even if you had a perfect BR1 or 2 army, it showed you're connecting to BR3, but this got fixed already, and now it shows precisely what you're connecting to. But keep these numbers in mind, so you can always check exactly what you're connecting to, and get an indication whether you missed something, and maybe you have some random item that's too high. For example, I played together with a friend, and we had perfect BR1 and 2 armies, and he forgot that he had a random high level, I guess he had an MP40 on a pilot that he didn't even use, and that's why we constantly got up tiered. So yeah, yes, exactly. So these types of things happen. Also, in case if you're playing in a stack, so if you queue up together with up to 3 other players within Enlisted itself, the single highest player BR will be used for the whole stack, which is fair because otherwise people could trick the system. And yes, always do the checks that I just told you to make sure that no player has a much higher BR than you actually want to have for your whole team. And for the end, let's take a quick look at the Ardennes Offensive. Now this new battlefield, not new campaign obviously, since there are no campaigns anymore in the game. It's called Battlefields, which is basically a group of maps for a specific setting. This new Ardennes Offensive battlefield will be amazing because it fills out the much needed gap of late war maps where Germans and Americans can play on maximum BR. Because this December 1944 means you can play your King Tigers easily, but it also implies that the Americans are going to get some high level, max level tanks actually, to be able to deal with the Germans. And this is the biggest news of it all. Once stuff like that gets implemented, you can also expect new weapons and vehicles to be implemented. And since it's late war, basically end of war, you can expect some big new cool things. I personally expect some very high level American tanks, possibly planes, though they already have the best plane by far in the game. For the Germans, well, there can't be any stronger tanks added, except for some very obscure things. So I guess there will be some fun tanks added for Germany, but not stronger tanks, which is good. You don't need more power creep. But I also expect the Germans to get the Messerschmitt 262, which literally everyone is waiting for. Yeah, this is going to be cool. And we're going to get 2 different maps, which are split up in many parts. Keep in mind, a map in Enlisted doesn't mean one literal map to play. It's a huge area. And it's so huge that it can actually count as 2 separate maps. And we get 2 distinct areas, which will be split into a bunch of different maps. So this Ardennes Offensive battlefield can be actually counted as its own new campaign if you want, regarding the amount of content. Yeah, here we see, I guess, the central station, which looks really cool. Keep in mind, this is all Belgium, so it's gonna look much better than France. Yes, very cool architecture, very cool autumn to winter atmosphere, and it's specifically stated that you can see these beautiful autumn trees, and the summer areas are autumn based and other areas are winter based. So some will be looking like this, where you don't see snow, you just see very cool, comfy autumn feeling, and other areas, especially the nature areas, will be filled with snow. Yeah, like the urban areas will be early Ardennes Offensive, I guess, and the natural areas will be snow-filled mostly. Yeah, I can see from the pictures it looks amazing. Look at this. This looks absolutely amazing. Just look at I really like the French architecture in the game, but only in the little villages, not in the cities. Look at Le Bray, looks amazing, right? But then look at Oma, looks ugly as hell. But if you look at this looks, that's how architecture needs to look like. So yeah, absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to play, this looks amazing. I can't wait to play this, it's just gonna be great. Now obviously everyone's wondering when is it gonna come out. Yep, literally no indication. It literally only says next major update. I hope it comes out in January. Yeah, I hope it comes out in January. There's a small chance it can come out something like late December. It could actually, because obviously the map seems to be already completed. And since Darkflow doesn't do actually too much or very little at all testing, yeah, they could come out quite fast. I'm sure they're just gonna work and make sure that all of the bugs are fixed mostly right now, and then they can roll this out. Another indicator that this could come out in December is that they want to keep up the hype for the winter sales. And guess what? If you can put out something really hypey, even after a couple days after Christmas, yes, all the nerds are gonna be happy. All the Zoomers are gonna spend grandma's money on some overpowered Gaijin premium squads. So yeah, it's reasonable to release this earlier than expected. So yeah, and the player base also loves it because yeah, this is the by far best received news drop since months, by far. So yeah, this is really good to hear. And for those who may have missed it, there's also an event going on since 3 days, and it's the Soviet Paratrooper event. This event usually would have created lots of hype, but since there's the merch and everything goes under it, people may be missing it. So here's the deal. It's literally the strongest free squad ever released in the game. Why is it so? First of all, it's a Paratrooper squad, which with good weapons is one of the most overpowered squads you can have. And they have the possibly overall best weapon in the game, definitely one of the absolutely best weapons in the game, the Further Aftermath, which is a 25 bullet full auto, basically assault rifle, which was built in World War I with all of the problems and unreliability that comes with it, but in game it doesn't have any of the downsides. On the contrary, it's getting some additional upsides. So yeah, this squad is absolutely overpowered, and they can even be extremely flexibly equipped. So yeah, this is absolutely insane, and here's how the event works. You get 13 stages. You have to reach 20,000 battle points, so the points you see at the end of a battle, to reach a step, and you got 2 days time to reach 20,000 points. Make sure you always click on the blue icon on the right side of your screen to claim your rewards, because otherwise the game is just gonna delete them and you have to grind the same level again the next time, in the next 2 days. So yeah, this is the thing to watch out, and the prices are extremely good, not only the squad itself, but also anything around it, because you get tons of appearance change orders, which is really cool because, yeah, once again, having enough of them, having a bunch of dozens or a couple hundreds, means you can customize everything you have to look very good. And the game actually is really fun once you actually love every single soldier you have. And you get not only 1 but 2 gold order weapons. Yes, this is absolutely good. And the demand for gold order weapons also exploded, because since even low level gold order weapons are viable now, yes, guess what? People really want to get as many of them as possible. So yeah, also my little recommendation here, possibly wait 1-2 weeks if you're not sure about whether to buy a specific gold order weapon, because the battle ratings might change a little bit. I'm literally waiting 2 more weeks until I buy anything, so I know everything is settled and we can have actually very reliable numbers. Alright? And you also get, of course, every day, every single step, not day, a random prize, which is either a bunch of silver or some specific upgrade orders. Alright, that's it. Let me know what you think, if you're happy about all of this. This was much more than expected. I expected a 10 to 15 minute videos, 15-minute video, but it got much longer because, yeah, there are lots of problems going on, but overall the game is improving significantly. And I wish you fun and luck in your next games. Until next time.